scones this morning from Vi were outstanding, Keith. My tummy was rumbling and I couldn't wait for them.
The best yet?
Oh, brilliant. Thank you for that.
Pleasure, Bruce. So was the racing at the weekend outstanding, both at Warwick Farm in Sydney and at Moonee Valley, and also in New Zealand, rough habit trial between races at Wanganui yesterday, and Vianda Cross won a blinker trial during the week. We're seeing the emergence of some of the best already here, and the best to come from New Zealand pretty soon.
Given a choice, would you rather have been at Moonee Valley, as they called it yesterday, or Warwick Farm? Where did you think the real pulse was racing yesterday?
Well, I think Moonee Valley lost nothing with King Marauding's win. His time was the fastest by any winning three-year-old of the Manikato Stakes. There's been a few smart ones have won it. Vane, Century, Dual Choice. His is something special, Bruce. We shouldn't not acknowledge that. And he's going to go and win more big sprints during the sprint.
Yes, he looks outstanding. Shaftesbury Avenue looked pretty good yesterday. Max Presnell from the Sydney Morning Herald joins us this morning. Max, terrific clash between two great horses, Shaftesbury Avenue and Superimpose, and both horses came out really with victories, I felt, yesterday.
Yes, Bruce, good morning to you. I did think Warwick Farm was the place to be yesterday. Keith could have Moonee Valley yesterday. Warwick Farm was champagne racing. Shaftesbury Avenue showed, I think, a point that we've suspected for a long time. He's the best racehorse in Australia, but if he's got a great, well, if he's got anything on Superimpose, it's certainly only about a half length. The weight for age conditions of the Warwick Stakes yesterday suited Shaftesbury Avenue, made to order for Shaftesbury Avenue, were right against Superimpose, but to the end he was trying. I would like to see a return bout in the Epsom under handicap conditions, and I don't know whether the result would be the same.
Gee, I'm a big fan of Shaftesbury Avenue, Max, but obviously you haven't been at Flemington for the last couple of Australian Cups. Let's Open better loosen up. I'd like to see Let's Open Shaftesbury Avenue flatten out with about a furlong to run at Flemington over a mile and a quarter.
OK, so would I. I'd like to... So the whole point of it, Bruce, is tempo. Now, the tempo was made to order for Shaftesbury Avenue yesterday. A lot was in his favour. But the overwhelming thing is that Shaftesbury Avenue can produce that sprint at the end of a mile and a half too. Under weight for age conditions, I'd be backing Shaftesbury Avenue to beat Let's Open.
Well, he hasn't won further than 2,000. I love the horse, don't get me wrong. You'll agree with Max, of course, wouldn't you, Keith?
Yes, 22.14 for the last 200 metres, and that is the point that Max is making. Yesterday, Max Shaftesbury Avenue wore stick-on shoes, glue-on shoes. He will not be allowed to do that in Victoria.
Oh, well, surely he'll be allowed to do it, Keith. Victoria can't be won out on a situation like this. Glue-on shoes are allowed in Queensland, they're allowed in Western Australia. Glue-on shoes are a major factor in the Shaftesbury Avenue of yesterday. Why has Victoria got to be won out on glue-on shoes?
Very parochial this morning, Max. Just don't ever forget where the main event's played at this spring.
No, I will concede that. The main event every spring is the Melbourne Cup. There's no doubt about that. That's a fact. But the fact is, too, that Shaftesbury Avenue is a better horse with glue-on shoes. So why won't the VRC allow him to wear them?
Max, you're not going to get an argument with me over that one. Let's go to the track yesterday and see this great horse win against another great horse, Two Chestnuts.
At the 1,000 metres mark, Dom Star led about a half on Shaftesbury Avenue. It's a good thing he's up close to the lead with this pretty slow pace. Mobile Peter travelling deep on the outside of Superimpose with Crick Score on the fence. And then Valdano followed by Pre-Record and Sade. 700 out the leader, Dom Star, by nearly a length on Shaftesbury Avenue. Mobile Peter third on the outside of Superimpose. On the fence, Quick Score at the 600 mark. A gap then to Valdano followed by Sade and Pre-Record. They're going to sprint the last 500 only. Dom Star by about a head to Shaftesbury Avenue, taking closer order. Superimpose is cluttered up between horses coming around the turn. Mobile Peter on his outside, followed by Quick Score. Super's into the clear now. Straightening up, and Shaftesbury Avenue has pinched a break on them. On the outside, Superimpose and Quick Score putting in a dash, followed by Dom Star and Sade. Dittman getting to work on Shaftesbury Avenue. Quick Score and Superimpose on the outside. Can't reach him. Shaftesbury Avenue holding them safely, and Shaftesbury Avenue wins the Warwick Stakes by a length or a little more than a length to Superimpose. Quick Score third, followed by Sade.
He is a great horse. He's got a tremendous first-up record. His next run, we believe, Max, will be... Is it the Craigley Stakes in Melbourne on September 12? Is that what you heard yesterday?
His immediate future is in doubt because Bart Cummings, well, he was in Japan yesterday. There is a possibility, Anthony Cummings told Mick Dittman, that Shaftesbury Avenue, if weighted right, could run in the Epsom. Now, Superimpose, if weighted right, could also run in the Epsom. The AJC allow that match to escape. I'll be very, very, very surprised. The point about it too, Keith mentioned Shaftesbury came home in 22.1. That's probably the fastest last 400 metres ever run at Warwick Farm. I just wonder, I think Superimpose might have come home a shade faster, and Superimpose certainly wasn't as fit yesterday as Shaftesbury Avenue.
Well, there's a lot to look forward to, because if he does run in the Craigley, I know we've got this big match at the Epsom, but if he comes and runs in the Craigley, he runs against Star of the Realm.
Star of the Realm, that will be fantastic. Every week from now on, Bruce, is going to be just a series of fantastic clashes.
Well, did a bubble burst yesterday in the Silver Shadow, Max, or is skating every bit as good as burst, do you think, in this spring?
Again, Bruce, it's tempo. It's what a horse is allowed to run, what he can run. Skating came home in, say, I think 22.5 for a last 400 metres. A brilliant burst. They went brilliant burst, that's not a pun. They went very slow early in this race, so it was a sprint home. Shane Dye had his critics on burst. I've been critical of Dye in the past, not yesterday. Dye did what he had to do under the tempo of the race. Burst wasn't good enough on the day, was beaten by a better filly on the day, but nevertheless, I don't think you can take anything away from Burst or Shane Dye.
Well, let's have a look at the Silver Shadow yesterday and skating's victory.
Tightly packed, approaching the 600 mark. It's Clocker, Skating, and Stay in Bloom on the outside, makes a line of 3. Burst is parked right behind them on the outside of So and So. Flitter between horses. Yodelay flat to the boards, followed by Duel of Africa, Allegheny, Diamond Capri, and Janole is last as they turn the corner. Burst has got to go about 4 deep, but Dye looks very confident as they straighten up. Clocker the leader over Skating, and then Stay in Bloom. Now he goes for Burst, and the filly on the outside is coming after them. Clocker and Skating are the 2 leaders. He's got to go for Burst. She's slowly but surely picking them up, but Skating is in front. Burst won't pick Skating up. Skating is holding on. It's a boil over in the Silver Shadow. Skating beat Burst. Third's close, Clocker or Stay in Bloom.
There's 2 smart fillies there. John Marshall, who won the race on Skating, will go back to Hong Kong this week, and I predict that he will be the colony's top jockey because of his freelance situation at the end of the season.
Here's bad luck for Jim Cassidy there, who would have had the ride. Let's now go to the up-and-coming, and I'll ask Max about his impressions of West End.
As they come to the turn on the fence, Irish Rort, West Enders between horses, followed by Air Seattle and Coronation Day. Heads a turn for home, King Seal and Winning Combo. In third place, Renoki Boy, followed by Full Count, Irish Rort. West End into the clear, Sir T going with him. At the 200, Winning Combo, the leader. Santa Kima squeezing through close to the inside. They're all over the place. West End wide out with Sir T. West End is in front close to home, and Harry Lawton cracks it for a double. West End wins the up-and-coming. Santa Kima second, Sir T third.
Well, Anthony Cummings, Max, I know, was fined over that horse, West End. Do you think the colts are as good as the fillies? I just get the feeling that the fillies, except for Clan O'Sullivan, might be superior.
I think a point that I must make, Bruce, 3 1,200 metre races yesterday. All 3 were run in the same time, 1:99. I don't think there's a great deal between the fillies and the colts, but when they'll clash and the colts will have to give the fillies weight, I think they'll find it pretty tough. I wasn't overwrapped with the form of the up-and-coming yesterday, and I certainly wouldn't be backing any of the runners to beat King Marauding over 1,200 metres.
Fair enough. Well, let's look at the other 1,200 metre race, and the horse we're really interested in here is not the winner, Cavalier, who's good and honest, but the horse that was running on Naturalism.
To the turn, Burrendar Boy with the inside running, just led Cavalier. Graphic makes a line of 3, and right behind those Page Prince. Let's Hurry about to be pulled into the clear, giving Bowl Promise a brush as they straighten up, where Burrendar Boy is the leader, being tackled by Cavalier, Page Prince followed by Graphic, and the others look to be struggling. Burrendar Boy still in front. Old Cavalier inch by inch is wearing him down. Burrendar Boy tackled by Cavalier. Cavalier grabbed him on the line. Cavalier beat Burrendar Boy, Page Prince third.
Your thoughts on Naturalism, Max?
A very good run. They crawled along early, which didn't suit Naturalism. He covered a lot more ground. He was getting to the line very well at the finish. He looked in good order. Naturalism is spot on for his spring campaign.
And Keith, your feelings on him in comparison, say, with Viander Cross and Star of the Realm?
Yes, I thought it was a good workmanlike performance yesterday. Nothing to rave about, but something that was expected from him, Bruce.
Well, you raved about King Marauding. Let's see why, because his run in the Manikato was pretty special yesterday.
And watch at the halfway mark, interference.
Street Ruffy in the inside first to bound out from King Marauding, who began brilliantly in the centre. Away fast as Black Rouge, going fast just behind them. High Chicago, Dark Boa. Over on the inside, starring a bit further back as Grey Man, followed by Ellie Shan from Durbridge and Plum Crazy last of all. King Marauding takes the leader. A half length to Street Ruffy and High Chicago close up, and behind the Black Rouge got a slight check and drop back on top of Dark Bow, who's got back to last as they run down with about 750 metres left to go. King Marauding in charge. A half length High Chicago, Street Ruffy in the inside. Ellie Shan making ground is just behind them. Grey Man followed by Gotti centre field. Black Rouge is on the inside of Durbridge and Dark Bow, followed by Starring and Plum Crazy up towards the home turn. 600 to go. King Marauding is the leader by a half length to Ellie Shan, the outside High Chicago. This leader skipped away on the home turn. King Marauding is out full of running, about 2 lengths to Ellie Shan. The others are struggling, headed by High Chicago. Back behind them, Durbridge is coming home well from a long way back, and they're followed by Gotti as they straighten up at King Marauding with a long break. Durbridge is down the outside running on, followed by High Chicago, and back behind them is Gotti. King Marauding's got a big break. Durbridge is starting to flash down the outside, but King Marauding's got a winning lead. He's stopping a bit near the line, but he's too good, King Marauding, and the 3-year-old King Marauding, he's down on the post to score 2.5 lengths to Durbridge. Gotti's run third.
Yes, nominal favourite now for the Ascot Vale Stakes, a big win by King Marauding, and Phil Alderman, an 11-week suspension for causing mid-race interference.
11 meetings, I think.
11 meetings.
Yeah, you can ride him in the Ascot Vale. Durbridge looked very good.
Durbridge, the winner of the Derby last year, the AJC Derby, an enormous run, because he hadn't raced for nearly a year. But I don't know where his path is. He's got 56 or 56 and a half in the Cups. That's too much weight for him. So maybe the Cox Plate, and I wonder whether he's good enough for that.
Max, very briefly, Clan O'Sullivan versus King Marauding.
Clan O'Sullivan, if he's at his peak.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. He was the best as a 2-year-old, but he's going to have to improve because this horse has made some improvement. Let's look at Primacy yesterday. This is another 3-year-old who looked pretty impressive in winning the Mitchell Mackenzie.
500 metres left to go as they run down the school side. Bronze Legend in charge, leading about a half length to Mr. Elegant, a length and a half further back. Ridden along now is Primacy. Snack Pack is under some pressure. Preeminence is coming around them on the outside, and a long gap to Western Velvet, followed by Party Sun and Condescension as they make the home turn. Bronze Legend looks to be going well as they straighten up and got away by a length and a half. Now Primacy pulled to the outside, is starting to run on. He's the danger. Primacy coming after Bronze Legend halfway down the running. Primacy going to Bronze Legend. Primacy is going home the better, got level, takes the lead, and Primacy coming away, and Primacy won it nicely by a half length to Bronze Legend. 3 lengths away third, Mr. Elegant, followed by Snack Pack.
Well, Preeminence looks to struggle. Keith, briefly, Primacy now versus King Marauding, Clan O'Sullivan, because we're talking Ascot Vales with this horse.
Yes, he'll be outclassed in that event, to my mind. Not good enough.
OK, Max and Keith, here's the latest markets on the Caulfield Melbourne Cup. Early days we know, but Star of the Realm and Viander Cross are equal favourites for the Caulfield Cup at 10 to 1. Royal Magic, I believe, has had one run in New Zealand at 12 to 1. And as we go across to the Melbourne Cup, again, early days here, My Eagle Eye and Viander Cross both at 10 to 1. Max, what's coming up in Sydney this week?
Oh, well, next week, this week at Rose Hill, of course, we've got the Peter Pan Stakes. You'll have another look at West End in that event. But as Keith pointed out previously, the racing from here on in is champagne racing. Is going to be outstanding in both cities, and just let's hope that you see the best of Shaftesbury Avenue in the right shoes.
Yes, we really do like him. And Keith, better loosen up in the Liston this week, and Cora with a tie this week.
Yes,
what's happening there?
From the Cora Racing Club, and Robert Fryer, the secretary, sent that they race the next major meeting on the first Tuesday in November. Not the most important meeting in Australia that day, but for Cora,